What I've learned over the past 12 weeks with two fractures in the same foot. All right. So, some of you might not know what I've been going through. Some of you do. But even most of you probably don't know to the extent that I've had been battling with this mentally and emotionally as well. So, sometimes God, in His sovereignty, He places obstacles in our way, right? Obstacles that we have never anticipated. And perhaps you've been there, I'm sure. I was recently there, still there. Um, you know, I'm very committed to health and fitness, right? I follow a certain diet. I like to work out every single day, pretty much. I like to work out hard. I like to stay in shape, as you know, not that I'm a pinnacle of Muscle Magazine or anything like that, but I try my best, and I like to stay in shape, right? I grew up not in shape, and that really put a drive in me in my adulthood to stay in shape and never go back to that place. And then obviously in this pursuit, I've prioritized health and long-term, longevity and things like that. So, working out and going to the gym was a very important part of my life. And so about 12 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago, I was in the gym and broke my ankle, right? Many of you know that I fractured it, tore ligaments, totally put out of commission, couldn't work out, couldn't do anything. It was about 7 weeks until I was back in the gym. All right. And then it was basically my first week back in the gym. And I I asked ChatGPT what the odds of this was, and one of the numbers they threw at me was 1 in 400 million. So it shows you how lucky I am. But I fractured the top of the same foot. And so I couldn't walk on it. Obviously, I was on crutches for several weeks, just gotten off the crutches. And as of now, can kind of hobble around, but I'm not back into the gym. I can't exercise. I can't do anything like that. You kind of feel like a no good for nothing, sitting around on the couch, not able to move very much. Um, and for someone like myself who prizes movement, right? I prize my health. I prize getting up and moving fast and just doing what I need to do, taking care of myself. I don't need anybody to wait on me, that kind of stuff. It was very devastating. I asked questions like, Lord, why are you doing this to me? Right? Not only did you do it to me once, but it wasn't like I guess I didn't learn my lesson the first time. You did it to me again, right? And why take away something from me that brings me so much joy? And this cry of the heart is not uncommon. And I'm sure there's many people that are watching this that probably felt something similar. But, I went back to scripture and I started soul searching, so to speak, praying, spending time in the Bible, of course, and asking God, what are you trying to teach me? And one scripture that's popped out is we're told the Father disciplines those he loves in Hebrews, right? And you have to think about it this way: discipline from a perfect, all loving, perfectly loving God, it's not punishment. All right. Well, I've already talked about that in the past. God doesn't punish his children in the sense of, oh, is God punishing me because I did this, I did that? No, he doesn't do that. But he does correct. He lovingly corrects us. And often, in my case especially, God slowed me down, right? And I have to see that it wasn't to harm me, but it was to get my attention. And he might be slowing you down in your life right now to try to get your attention. It could be slowing you down in your health, in your fitness, in your finances, in your relationships, in your family. But he does this to get our attention. In a culture that prizes speed, activity, achievement, even good things like health and fitness, which those are good, but our heart can begin to drift. And I know mine did. I have to admit it. I had to admit it with God. My heart started to drift. Without realizing it, I had elevated something which was a good gift of God in the place of God Himself. And that's what Scripture calls idolatry. It's not golden calves, but it's misplaced priorities. Sometimes God, He graciously removes or restricts certain joys in our life, as He did for mine, so that He can expose our hearts and call us back to Himself. This is actually merciful. This is teaching us that nothing, no sport, no activity, no career, no relationship, no fitness plan. It can't be the anchor of our souls. Only Christ is sufficient. Everything else is temporary. It's fragile. This body is fleeting away, right? I can't take it to heaven with me. And as I get older, there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to keep breaking down and breaking down. And there's many other examples I could give you of other things in life. And it can be taken away in a moment, just like my ankle was taken away. My foot was taken away, right? My activity was taken away. But the Bible tells us, what does it profit a man if he gains the world and forfeits his soul? Now, does this mean that having things that you enjoy in life, like for myself, working out, taking care of my health is a bad thing? No. I mean, stewardship is a biblical principle. So stewardship of my body, right? But it can't become the center of my worship. And I had to do some soul searching on that. God's not going to share his glory with anybody else or any other thing. Even our best pursuits, they have to be held with open hands, subordinate to God's will. And I know that we don't like to hear that because we want to be in charge of our own life and let nobody tell us what to do. That's the fleshly urge. But what something I had to learn, and hopefully this helps you see the same thing, is when the Lord slows you down, try to receive it as a gracious invitation to examine your heart. Ask the Lord, what are you trying to teach me? It's not a fun question to ask, I know, but where have my affections drifted? And then rejoice that he loves you enough to redirect you, to correct you, to get you back on the right path. Because the greatest joy is not, running or lifting weights or performing. It's knowing Christ and being conformed to his image. Everything else, no matter how good, and it can be good, it's secondary though. So that is how you're going to endure a fractured ankle or a fractured foot all in a short amount of time, right? A lost opportunity, a closed door, or any other trial that God's going to throw your way or allow to be thrown your way. You can do it with the confidence that the Father is shaping you for something far more lasting than physical fitness, right? He's shaping you for eternal holiness, and that's far greater. So, hope you got value from this and kind of learned, maybe inadvertently learned a lesson that I've had to learn here recently, and hope it comforts you in some shape, form, and fashion. So, God bless you. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.